So tonight we're going to focus on doing a beginner session. So literally I'm going to go through the arcs and explain the arcs, the arc pattern, and maybe we'll get into some Elliott waves. But really I just want to get the arcs going and really just explain it for the new people. And they can ask me any questions that they want. Anybody can ask me any questions you want. So basically there is a repeating pattern that plays out in the charts. And it's the same pattern that just repeats over and over and over. It's just difficult to notice initially because it's a bit like every day. Every day you have a routine, and every day you do the same routine. But there's always nuances in the day that seem to make it different. But when you average out the days, so much of your day is actually in the same routine. So the charts are the same. Is when you start to look at the arc pattern, is there's impulses, so there's waves, and they move in impulses, and then they have corrections. And literally you get an impulse, you get a correction, an impulse, you get a correction. And it's like a heartbeat, impulse and a correction, impulse and a correction. And then if you look at it a little bit closer, you'll notice that there's a pattern where you get a big impulse and then a big correction, and then a smaller impulse and a smaller correction. And then sometimes you get a smaller impulse and a smaller correction, and then you get a breakout. The pattern breaks out of that, and it moves back into a bigger impulse and a bigger correction. And it literally rotates around that. So what we're looking for is a big impulse, so a breakout, a correction, a smaller impulse, a correction, and then possibly a smaller impulse, a correction. Sometimes there's two, sometimes there's three, and then you get that big impulse again. And an example of it here is right in front of us. Is you can see the big impulse, the Elliott wave, and then the ABC correction, and then an Elliott wave and the ABC correction, and then the Elliott wave and the ABC correction. So what does that tell you about price action right now? We're in a bear market. Everything's crashing and going to shit. Or we're right at the bottom of a correction, and we're going to have an absolutely glorious Elliott wave. A new impulse is being birthed as we speak. So it's not a bear market at all. And this is the daily. This is the day. Each one of these candles is a day. So you can see that the impulse, correction, and then off we go. So now, if I take this here, so now this is the challenge with reading this and reading this drop here, and then when is this drop a bear market and when is it not a bear market? A lot of people were saying before that here, if it drops below 51, they're talking about it being going into a bear market. It's being invalidated because they're looking at this impulse, and the start of it is this. So if it goes below 51, it will invalidate this impulse, and therefore technically we're in a bear market. However, this impulse is part of a bigger impulse, which is part of a resurgence from the previous cycle. So here, right here, at 10 cent 62 is the lowest point from the previous bull run. So there was a bull run here, then you had the bear market come all the way down, all the way down, all the way down, and this is the lowest point it got to. So from here, it has been going on its run up. So this is the lowest point. So you could say that when you want to measure this market today, this bull run today, is you could mark it from the bottom, the lowest point of the bear market, rather than measuring it from here or measuring it from here. This is the lowest point. So when you have this correction coming in, and you see this correction going lower, is it can go lower and still not invalidate this bear run. It could come all the. I think it could come all the way down to 36. I think it could come all the way down to probably even 24. I'd say it could come down to 24, and this would still be possibly even 20, and still be a valid bear run. It would just be an enormous correction. But you can see after every pump, there's a correction. A pump, a correction, a pump, a correction, a pump, a correction. So they're there. The correction, pump, correction. So why is this one so deep? Is because it's the run up, and then it's the run down, and also I think it's so deep because of how big the next one is going to be. So the bigger the dump, the bigger the pump. And I think the next one is going to be absolutely glorious. And the reason being is that of the top 10 coins in CoinMarketCap, is the only one that hasn't broken its all-time high is XRP. So XRP has an awful lot of catching up to do. So I think XRP's pump is going to be one of the ones people are talking about in this year. Anyway, so here we are. So now getting back to the arcs. Okay, so I'm going to do the daily, and then when I zoom in, you're going to see that I'm going to do. Actually, this is the weekly. Even though I'm on the day, I think I could do the weekly. Do the weekly like this. Yeah, no, I won't do the weekly like this. I'll stay in the day. Okay, so the candles are on the daily, but this is going to be the weekly arc that I'm mapping out now. Yeah, and it's only recently that I've decided to run it from all the way back here, because I was doing it from here, and then I decided no, I'll pull it back to here, and then I was like, well, actually, if I'm really going to be very, very specific about the starting point of this bull run, this is the lowest point, and it picks up from here. So I'm going to start from here. So basically, I'm doing a triangle. So over the side here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 down there's a triangle pattern, and basically it's a triangulation. So there's A, B, C is here, and then D is here. So this is the weekly. Now when you look at this, is look at these two touch points. There's still all this space that it can move in. So is there space for it to come down more? Yeah, absolutely there is, yeah. Is where does this come down before it starts to invalidate, before it breaks this line? Is 24, 30, 35. So yeah, it could come down to the early 30s, no problem, no problem to it, and it would still be a valid arc. But you can see that, look, this is ready to break out. So now one of the things that we'll be doing, and I'll show you this now, is you put a Fibonacci on it, and from the bottom to the top, and this is how you measure you get a good indication of the next pump. You can actually even see here, and I put this here like this, look at this, it's already down right smack bang on the 236. So when I do the bottom to the top, here's the rejections here on the golden pocket, Here it is bouncing off the 5. Here it is coming down onto the 382. And then here it is touching the 236. So it is quite possible that this is the bottom in, yeah. But how you measure the next arc, the breakout, the peak of it, is you put a fib on like that, and you go up and you have a look. Is normally you'd look at the 1618, but then this is going to be a parabolic pump, so you go up and you look at the 2272. So the 2272 is at $4.37. So you'll hear a lot of people talk about $4.50, and this is the reason why they're talking about $4.50. Is the fibs mapped out like this are saying that, yeah. So, and then they talk about that being the minimum, $4.50 being the minimum. Now, how long it takes to get there, I don't know. Actually, I do. I tell a lie. It's another conversation for another day. But when this pump kicks in, they have a tendency to last 6 to 7 weeks, 35 to 42 days. So when this takes off, it's going to be a run for about 6 or 7 weeks, and it'll be a glorious run for 6 or 7 weeks, and it'll be doing a massive Elliott wave, and then it'll have its correction, it'll have its retracement and peak. So anyway, so look, there's the weekly arc, and it's a triangulation, A, B, C, D, and I believe the weekly is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is grey. So we have them color coded. So you'll see in the tools section that you'll see we have our arcs color coded. So when everybody's posting their arcs, if you can use the same color code, when we look at your post, is we can tell by the color of your triangle what timeline you're on. Okay, so now when you zoom in here, is you can also see that there are smaller. There's another arc within this. So I could go from here to there. So A, B, C, and then I go D here. Okay. Now this is the daily. So now the grey one is the weekly, and they have a tendency to run about a year or so. There's a long, now because I've brought this all the way back to here, it's the 12th of March 2020, and we're in the 25th of January 2022. So that's nearly 2 years, isn't it? Now again, a lot of this is sideways. I'm leaving it in because I think this bottom line is important, but there's an awful lot of sideways here. You could say that this is a pump, and then this is the beginning of it here. This is where I originally had it. So if I look at this here, this is the 28th of December 2020, and then this is the 24th of January 2022. So this is a year, 13 months, and you can see it's ready to break out. But from a technical point of view and the price action, I'm counting this in. Okay, but normally I would say the length of it is a year. Okay, but I think this is actually important with regards to price action and where it can go now, because look at where this has gone. But look at the arc. People are saying we're in the bull run, or the bear market, or it's heading for a bear market. It's not. It's naive when you think about it, because look at the arc. It is only getting in position for a breakout. That's all it's doing. So now there's the weekly. Here's the daily. Okay. So here's one. Look, Elliott wave, correction, Elliott wave, correction, Elliott wave, and ABC correction. Yeah. So here's another one. A, B, C, D. Okay, so there we go. And again, if this goes lower, it's creating a bit of a descending triangle. But for now, there it is. And again, look, Elliott wave, correction, Elliott wave, correction, Elliott wave, correction. And then breakout. Woohoo! So now look how one layers into the other. There's always a crossing over phase. So it's one continuous pattern that's repeating itself over and over and over. There is not one separation of a hair's distance between any of them. They are continually in the state of flow together. So that one always layers into another. So the end of one is the beginning of another. And then the same here. This is what I was thinking about this, that if this was the low and this didn't go lower, we'd have the 1, 2, 3 of the ABC correction and the pump out. Because this one here, 0, 1, 2, this low here didn't break this one by about half a cent or less. So on the Elliott waves is 0, 1, 2, and then the push away 3. Because this is now lower than this, okay, is we got to go and have a 1 somewhere up here, and then a 2 somewhere down here before we get our 3. So it's quite possible that we'll be going what we call sideways for another month or two, maybe another month for sure, before we get the pump, the push away, the 3 where you get this push. You know, the 3 where you get this push, up it goes. Okay, so here's the weekly, here's the dailies. Okay, and then we zoom in. So this is the day. So now I'm going to change the time and put it onto the 4 hour. So there's the 4 hour. Okay, and while we're on the 4 hour, just let me have a check, see how this price action is going. Okay, very good. It seems to be okay. It's finding its way down. Very good. Dollar costed in. I just wanted to make sure I'm going the right direction for me. Okay, so look, we're on the 4 hour. So now when you zoom in, the candles are now on the 4 hour. So the 4 hour candles now, yeah? And you're gonna see the same pattern play out. And this is where it gets interesting. And for the people who are more familiar, is you're going to see. I'm going to show you now how the triangles can change in shape when you're going up, because you've always got the ascending, then you have the cresting, you have the descending. So you got the arcs going up, you got them going into transition sideways, you have them coming down, you got transition sideways, and then you've got ascending again. So they change shape, and this can be the challenge at times, yeah, is how to map them out. So here's one here, a top, a bottom, a top, a bottom, a top. Okay, now the 4 hour we put in as a royal blue. Okay, royal blue. There we go. So look, Elliott wave up, 1, correction down 2, here's a wave up, here's a smaller one, and then down. Okay, now I would actually say, sorry, this here, 3, 4, 5. So here's the peak of this wave here, because it's higher than it. So big wave, correction, smaller wave, correction, okay, and then you have, look at this sideways stuff going on here. It's still an Elliott wave and a correction. So I would, where would I put this? You can't break the line. So see, I'll put this here. You can't have that wick outside it. Is the wicks have to be in and cover. So I would say we got to probably move this here like this. Something like that there. Okay. There we go. So now we'll get into the name of these later on, but you have skyline, mountain peak, and final peak here. Okay. So now that's, look at the shape of this one. Now watch the shape, and this one, look at the time it took. Is the 27th of January. 27th of January to the 31st of March. Okay, so you're looking at 2 months there. It's a long time. But again, this is all sideways, a lot of sideways. So in many ways with sideways like that, it's almost like you have to edit it out and put the pieces together to see the pattern. Where here is, now look at how it plays out here. It's a very different pattern. Okay. So now the challenge is, there's a bottom, there's a top, there's a bottom, and there is a top. Okay. And we got to bring this. This should really be here. Put that there like that. Okay. Now I've got to leave this here, and then I have to bring this down like this. Okay. But essentially, this is like a bull flag. So now look at this, is you have the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There's the Elliott wave. There's one. There's its correction. Here's an Elliott wave. Here's a correction, and then here's the breakout. Now this is the time when here's Mountain Peak for the guys who are more familiar. And after Mountain Peak, look, you've got the second drop, and then you've got that breakout. This is where you get the breakout like this on the ascending channel. On the pump, this is when you got to be careful with Mountain Peak and the breakout afterwards. Yeah, because a lot of times we go in on a short on Mountain Peak and head down. Not when it's like this. Not when it's behaving like this. So here's another one. Now look at the length of this. This was, because remember we said 6 to 7 weeks. This was the 31st of March to the breakout is the 10th of April. So again, this is 10, 11 days. And then look how much price action has moved in 10, 11 days compared to 2 months. So this is a lot of what we've got a down channel at the moment, and we've been going sideways, and a lot of this going on, sideways action. No sideways here. This is all pump. So it's very different vibe, very different energy. Yeah. So now here we are here, and we do another one. So you can see the shape of them are changing. Sometimes they're not so obvious. So even though we're on, and again I gotta pull this out here to make sure we get these points in. Is we're on the 4 hour, but I'm going to go down to the 1 hour, because the 1 hour gives us more detail. And sometimes when you're on a timeline and the detail isn't so clear, you go down into the next timeline because it gives you more refined details that you can actually map out. You can actually map out the arcs. Okay. So look, here's the Elliott wave. Here's one. Here's the correction. And again, look at this here. There's a lot of sideways. Is Mountain Peak. Here's the correction. There's the bottom. There's the bottom. I'm not going to go down any lower. I'm not going to go down any lower. There's a B, C. This looks like they're, and these look like microwaves within it. Either way, this is mountain peak here. Then we have our correction, and then here's a final peak and a correction, and then here's the breakout. And I would imagine we'd probably have to go down to the 15-minute to do it. I'm not going to do it because I'll end up spending 3 hours doing this, yeah. But essentially, is we have the wave, a correction, a wave, a correction, and now we have the breakout. But you got to think about, look at it's the ascending pump. Look at the shape of it. Look how high price action is in the triangle, in the arc. Look how high price action is in it. So they're very different patterns in this one, in the sense of the shape of them, when you look at them at a superficial level. But when you go in to look at the Elliott waves, you still have the same pattern of a big one, a correction, a smaller one, a correction, and then a breakout. It's still that same pattern. So it's same, different day, same routine, if you get what I'm saying. But now look at this one here. Look, here we are, another Elliott wave and a correction, and then another Elliott wave and a correction. And here's the third peak. But now look, here we're starting to move into our breakdown. So now this is at the top, and we're going, we're in a transition phase here. So here's the bottom, there's the top, and I think we've got to go all the way down here for a bottom and a top, there we go, to catch that breakout. So now here's one wave, and it's correction. Let me see. No, here's one wave, A, B, C. Here's its correction. Here's a second wave, and then down it comes, and then this one is a breakout. So but essentially we've got two waves here. Okay, and then because it's cresting, and it's a transition where, look, we've reached a peak and now we're transitioning to head down. Is, look at this, the pump here. Now the correction on this is A, B, C, and C nearly comes all the way back down to where A began. Look how low it goes, but it didn't break it. And then here's our Elliott wave, and then A, B, C, and it's the breakdown. So remember we talked about these are the guys are more familiar. There's confluence. Is you can see that we're reaching the peak, and that what way is it going to go? Is it's going to go down. Okay, and then this is the 4-hour arc, but then this is the daily and also the weekly. So you can see that it's reaching a peak on all of them, and it's set to go down. So now here, look, it takes a step down. So we start from here, A, B, C, and then D. And remember, we've got to fit these in, so we've got to put that one there, and we have to put that one there. So because we're now coming down into the triangle, see, we're coming up here, a wave, and then up. This is an extra wave, so we got to have a wave come in, okay, and then we have our 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could question that, but I'm not going to do it now because I'm just talking you through it generally. So here's a wave and then the correction. So here's the first wave and correction, the second wave and the correction, the third wave and a breakout. So when we're coming down into the triangle, you've got this extra Elliott wave down, this extra wave down here. Okay, but look, same thing. Look, 1, 2, and then 3 the breakout. So over and over and over, it just keeps repeating itself. Okay, so now again, down it comes. Here's 1, correction, 2, correction, and then this time is up it goes. So it breaks up this time. Okay. So now you can see the way you have the daily, and then you have the 4-hour up like this and then down like that. Okay, and you can start to see that the 4-hour starts to lengthen out here. They're getting longer again. Now this is actually quite disciplined down. This here, this is quite nice and neat. There's no I can give an example. There's no big descending wedges like this one here. Like this is it. Like this would be a this is a toughie to. You can see that there. Like this is a toughie to this is a toughie to map, because look, here's the leg down, and then here's a wave. 1, correction, 2, correction, 3, correction, and then a breakout. But look now, look here, and again, here's Mountain Peak. For the guys who are more familiar, here's Mountain Peak here, and we're familiar with Mountain Peak like this. Where Mountain Peak, okay, is still here, but it's the breakout afterwards on the way up. And again, Mountain Peak, it's a familiar space for us. But look at this here, is here, here, no, I would suggest that this is Mountain Peak. This is I believe this is Mountain Peak. But the point I'm trying to make is, because it's descending, look how low it's going. So you've got that descending wedge, and it's quite possible we're in a situation where we've got that descending going on at the moment. Where are we going now? You can see the angle of things at the moment. So you got this big drop. Okay, now if this decides to go down to 49, you got this drop to 49. You got this going on. Is if it decided to go to 35, you'd have this going on. Now there's 2 ways you can approach it. You can basically say, let's say there's 50. Here's the drop. Here's a wave. Down. Look, here's another wave. Is stretch out a little bit. Down. And you get another little wave, and then breakout. So we could if it was, let's say it was going to drop to 30, let's say 31. We could be in for another wave like this, where it drops down. Okay, and then we have our Mountain Peak. you know, and then we have her up, and off it goes. We got her sideways, and off it goes. Or else this could be the bottom. This could be the bottom, and it could be just this here, you know, here, another drop down, but it doesn't break this, you know, and then 1, 2, maybe a little one, and then a break up it goes. So it'll be interesting to see where this goes, and if it starts to break lower. You see this here now? See this here didn't break below this, and I know there was a liquidity pool of 53, but it never got past it. Never got past this point here. This is the medial line on the green channel. Some of you will know about. So it didn't break that. So it looks like it's going to come down, have another test of it. If it doesn't break this again, I think it's a pretty good sign to say that, okay, I think down is done, unless it can actually break below this. We could be at the bottom, yeah. But we shall see. So right now you could say it's this, but it could become that, and simply because of the moving averages, the higher time frame moving averages are still coming down like a hammer. Anyway, so now let's go back here. Does everybody notice how I think TradingView sorted out their problems? You remember before where I was opening up different timelines and I couldn't find where I was? It wouldn't let me move around. Look how easy it is to do it now. It's great. Back to normal. So now look, you can see it here. I'm not going to keep doing the 4s because we want to go and do something to do the hours. But look, I'll do these out quickly. So here we are in a bull flag again, and then here's this one here. This is a messy one. This is a messy one. This is hard to read. This would be a hard one to read because look, it's starting to move into a little bit of sideways action. This is where sideways action can get at you here, yeah. So I'm just flying through these now just to show you them, yeah. Because I want to zoom in and do an hour and then do a 15-minute. And again, here's one that in a down channel, yeah. Yeah, and this is where you see these down channels. Look at the length of these. Look at the length of these long spikes, yeah. Like look at the length of them when it starts coming down. Where when we're going up, we've got these to look at. We're gonna go for these lovely long green candles, yeah. We've got to get used to the green candles because we're so used to the long red candles with the bear trend we've been in the last couple of months. So we're switching. Okay, and again here is the final one, yeah. And yeah, probably do it like that. So you can see again, this is a tricky one to make fit. I think you gotta do it like this. Just like that. Okay. So again, look at the shape of them. Look at the different shape of them, but they all have the same common denominator. They have a big Elliott wave and a correction, the smaller Elliott wave and a correction, and then sometimes they have a third one, a correction, and then always a breakout. Elliott waves, a breakout. Look at them all. They all have a breakout, a breakdown, a breakdown, a break up, break up, break up, break up, and then break down. So they all have that same wave cycle, and then a breakdown or a break up, and it repeats itself over and over and over. And you can go into smaller and smaller time frames, and you'll find the same pattern playing out, which is what we're going to do now. And let's just pick a nice easy one to do for going into the hour. Yeah. Okay, we'll do this one. So look, we put a 4 hour on this, and again, because this is going sideways, this one went on for quite a while. Okay, this is what happens as you go through the cycle more. We're on the 4 hour. As you go through the cycle more, is look at the volatility and how fast it happens. All this volatility and how fast it happens. Even here, volatility happens fast. So there's 1 6-month cycle or so, lots of volatility. Now the second 6-month cycle, less volatility. Okay, it is volatile, but it's less, not as big. Okay, and then as you're coming down here, is you're getting smaller volumes, and then it's going sideways. So now let's have a look at this one. So we've got this here. Okay, this is the 4 hour. Now we're going to go back here, and we're going to go into the 1 hour. Okay, and we're into the 1 hour. All right. So now the candles are 1 hour. Excuse me. The candles are 1 hour, and we're going to map out the same pattern on the 1 hour. So look, because we're going up into it. Let me just set it here, and then we'll expand into it. Now the 1 hour is red. It's a red. Actually, it's this here. It's a red. Now let me just get rid of some of these, just to keep it simple. There you go. So look, we can see it more. And look, we got to zoom in. We got to zoom in. So now just a quick check on price action while we're here. Okay, it's still going in the right direction. Okay, so look, here is the Elliott wave up, big one up. Here's the correction. Here's another wave. Here's a correction. Here's another wave. Here's a correction. So there's our tree, and then we have our breakout. Okay, but this is on the 1 hour. So this lasted from the 20th of July until the 7th of August. So what's that? That's 17 days, 2.5 weeks. So 2.5 weeks, where the 4 hour arc has a tendency to be on average about 2 months. So 2 to 3 weeks for an hour arc. A 1 hour arc is the 4 hour arc, 2 to 2 months or so. Some are really much longer, some are shorter, but on average 2. A daily is about 6 months long, and a weekly arc is about a year long. Okay, now it's the same pattern, and we're just zooming up and down different timelines. I think it might have been Farouk at one point was showing us an arc, and it was a 12-hour arc. So you can go to any time zone, and find them. Okay, so now we're on the hour, and again, this is where it gets a little tricky, because this here is also you can even probably do this. You can probably do that with it. Look, here's the wave, the Elliott wave, the correction is the Elliott wave, the correction. And now because we're going in an ascending, look, you got this turtle, it's a big spike, correction, and then you have the breakout. Again, this is messy, this is difficult. You can see it's not like this. This one's pretty easy to map. This one's messy. This one's messy to do. So now, here's another one. The bottom, the top, bottom, and again, where do we do this? We got to do it there. How do you know? This is where you got to trust your TA, and you go, there needs to be an Elliott wave. There needs to be a correction. There needs to be an Elliott wave. There needs to be a correction. So when you have 1, 2, you're in the right space. But look at the shape of it. Yep, there you go. That's what it is. Look at the shape of this one. Yep, there you go. That's what it is. So you gotta be careful about your own bias. About, well, I don't like the look of that, or that doesn't look right. It's not that you like the look of it or it doesn't look right. It's check the Elliott waves. Has an Elliott wave? Has it got its correction? Has it got a second one? Has it got its correction? Yeah, but I don't like the size of this correction. Yeah, but that's what it is though. So whether you like it or not, it doesn't matter. That's what it is. So you've got your 2 Elliott waves, and then you've got your breakout. That's it.
Right.
Yep.
Could you put your D, the last point, higher than it is, and would it still be okay?
Yes, you could. Would it be okay? Yes, but you in truth you have your 2 waves here. Does that make sense? Is this one is going above here, and it's not really giving you, like if you look at this here, this whole thing is an Elliott wave breakout here. So you have the beginning of it here. Is, you know, I wouldn't say you're wrong putting it there. You could do it, but I think it's cleaner here because you got a cleaner breakout. But yeah, you're not. You could definitely do that as well, and it's not going to make much of a difference. So here's this here again. So the part that really simplifies it for you is it can be a challenge sometimes to read the waves, the Elliott waves, you know, but you always know that look, here's one, here's the correction, here's another, here's the correction and a breakout. Okay, so you're cresting here, you've got your 2 waves, and then you've got your breakout. So now, remember, we're coming down now. So here's the bottom. See, this is not the bottom because this is the bottom. There's a top, and there's a bottom. So look, here's the wave down. And again, I think in many ways this is the type of wave we're experiencing now. It's a big one, and there's a lot in it. And when we think it's done, see this here, we think it's done, only for it to come down more. So I think it's quite possible that this is what we think is the bottom where we are right now. We're having this play out, only for this to happen and it to go down that bit deeper, actually a lot deeper. So let's say this is 54. This could be taking us all the way down to either somewhere in the 40s or the 30s, possibly. But look there now. From here, now we got to have our wave, our correction, our wave, our correction. So there's the big one comes down, and then we need 2 after that. We need 2 after that, and then we have our breakout. And there's the peak. Okay, and again, wave up, correction, wave, correction, and then breakout. Now you can see that the pattern is starting to change again. We're starting to get some sideways, and look how the volume is starting to decrease. Okay, and then this is a messy one. Here's the first wave and the correction, the second wave and the correction, and then the breakout. And then look at this mountain peak. Mountain peak is lower like this. So again, it's difficult to read until you zoom out. You start to look at the ascending nature of it, the transition, and then the descending. So you've got your ascending wedges coming up and your bull flags. You know, you got your symmetrical triangles or close to it, and then you've got your descending wedges on the way down. Yeah. So I'll just map out some more of these faster because I want to get in and get the 15 minutes in as well. Yeah. Now, this is the thing. This one's messy. This one is messy because I think I struggle with this. I struggle with this at the time as well. Where do I take that? I think I gotta do a smaller one here. Okay. And then let me do this. So there's this one. And again, lots of sideways action. Lots of sideways action here, yeah. And I believe that this here is part of this one. It's just sometimes what happens is that here's the breakout, and some people call it a fake out, and then you get the drop, yeah. And sometimes the arc doesn't fit them in so well. Okay, that's it there you go. I'm trying to remember what it was earlier. Is there's 1, 2, small, and then the breakout. There we go. And sometimes I do this to fit this in. There we go. But now look at the size of these, and look at the volume on that. And that was brutal. That was a shocker when it happened, yeah. And then look at all this feckin' sideways nuisance and this spike up through here, yeah. Treacherous stuff to trade a little bit, you know, and then put you to sleep again, you know. Okay, so that's the hour. That's the hour. Now we're going to go into the 15-minute. Okay. So now let's pick one and do the 15-minute. Okay. So now we're on the hour here. So look, we're going to change this to 15 minutes. Where's it gone now? Okay. It's down here. So look, you can see the size of it, yeah. Okay, so we've got to zoom in. And then there's more arcs here. Okay, So now the 15 minute is here's one here. There's one there. And that is going to be, it's this color here. It's the yellow, and it's the second from the bottom, yeah, I believe. There's a 15 minute. There's a 15 minute. Let me see, do I have this one right? I have this one right. If I went to here, so here's the wave, correction, the wave, the correction. These ones are fecky. See this here? These ones are fecky, but it's still, there's a wave there. Sometimes I wonder, do I put in like a bull flag here? But it's too messy to do. Is what happens sometimes is that you get confluence. Confluence is when you have like here, the red one is the hour, and here's skyline. Here's the top of the hour, but it's also the top of the 15 minute. So the confluence is that they're both skyline. You get moments where they match like that, and we'll be talking about that at a later date. Yeah. So I think there, and pull that back to there. There we go. Okay. Now I know the 15 minute and the hour is practically the same size of each other there. So now here, again, remember you've got the step down. So here's a wave, and a correction here. Here's another wave and another correction. And I would suggest put that there like that. So here's the wave down. Now here's the wave up, the correction, the wave up, the correction, and then this one here, a third one, a correction, and then here's the breakout. So from here to there. Let me see what's going on here now. Okay. So from here, here's the wave up, and then the correction is all the way down here. And again, here's the wave again up, and the correction, here's the other wave here, and then here's the correction. You can even say there's another wave in there, and then the correction, and then the breakout. So from here to there, again, this is where you've got the sideways, and this is where you start getting, this is where it gets challenging sometimes to read what's an hour and what's a 15 minute. Same, sometimes you go, what's an hour and what's a 4 hour? Because look, this is the wave up. This is the wave up. So now here's the correction down. Here's a wave, and then here's the correction. Here's the correction. I'd say to there actually. There's a wave, there's a correction, and then there's the breakout. So the challenge here with the 15-minute is it's hard to separate them. To be really honest about it, it's hard to separate them. And I'll tell you why. I'm going to go down into the 5-minute. Okay. Sometimes what I do is when the 15-minute and the hour, look so similar, is I go down into the 5-minute, because the 5-minute, now I have to scroll to it, the 5-minute gives me more distinction. Oh God, am I getting there? Is it moving at all? I won't let me go back any further. Okay. I want to go into this one here, because like look, there's the 15 and there's the hour, and to be honest, I'm like, geez, I could stretch the 15 all the way over here, and it's like there's the hour and the 15, they practically look the same. So what if I did this here and then did 5? What if I did 10? 10, let me bring it over. When I go down into the 5-minute, the 5-minute will give me the difference, I believe. Okay, so let me pull it over. Let me pull it over as a 10-minute. I'm just gotta wait for. No. Okay. Let me do a more present. There's a nice bit of red there on the way down. Look. Ooh. Let me do this one. Because it's more local. It won't block me from scrolling back to it. Yeah. And let me pick a nice tidy one. Okay. Let me do. I think we do this. Can I do it as a 4-hour? Okay. Okay. Now I think as a 4-hour, we're looking at this as a 4-hour. Okay. And and then this went down further than anticipated. So I was thinking that we get a nice double bottom here. You know, that's what I've been looking at. And then it did this, and it's looking like it could go further, which means it's either pulling this down like this, or it's a new 4-hour. So it depends on how much. Like it could by the end of it, if it does go down to the 30s, early 30s, we could end up with something like this. Okay, it's a smaller 4-hour, but it's tidier, because look, you've got the wave coming down, and you've got a peak, mountain peak, and a drop, and then a smaller one, and then a drop. So you've got your two waves, and then you've got your drop. Okay. Could you do this? Could you do this and say, look, here's a mountain peak and a drop, that this is the correction? Now that I look at this, and we get another wave and then a drop. So one, maybe actually one all the way down here to wherever it's going to go, then two, and then up it goes. That's actually could be That could be it as well. But look at this. Look at the size of it. My problem with this is the size of it. This is the 10th of November, 10th of December, 10th of January. I suppose it's not that long. It's still 2 months, a little bit longer. Okay. So, but let me get back to really what I wanted to show you. Is let's go to the 15-minute. Okay. So you always just got to find your starting point. So you go to an obvious one. So there's the drop down. There's the first wave up. Here's the correction, second wave, and then down. And we'll make this yellow. Okay. So now, when you go into the 5-minute, okay. I think this might need to go to there. Yeah, that's where it is. So now, if you look at the length of this, it started on the 3rd of December, and then breakout is the 20th of December. So 17 days, 2.5 weeks for 15 minutes. So that's a long time to trade. And when we get into the conversation, there's a trade, there's a short, there's a long, here's a short, there's a long, here's a short. If you're patient enough, you can take this short down to here, you know, or here's a short, a long, a short, a long, a short. Again, it's getting pretty tight, yeah. But how do you map that out? Because this is over like 17 days. Is you go down into the 5-minute and you map out the 5-minute. So again, this is again where it gets tricky, because even this is a 5-minute. All this happened, like this happened in very short space of time. Here, and then there. I'm going to move this to here. The 5-minute is green. There's the 5-minute. So remember, here we got an extra one because it's on the way down. Here's an Elliott wave up, and it's correction. Here's an Elliott wave, and it's correction. Even the little one here, and then breakout. Look all the way down to the 5-minute. Here's the same pattern playing out, and you can trade this one over a shorter period of time, in the sense that the length of this one was from, again, the 3rd of December to the 6th of September. So this is 3 days. So you can map this out and trade this one. Here's a short all the way down. Here's a long all the way up. Here's a short, and I would suggest down to here. So in 3 days, you've got one absolutely brilliant short, an excellent long, and then a short. So that's one trade a day. Now you can go in and you can start trading the smaller places here, but this gives you at least one a day. And this is why I'm saying to you, when you go down into the 5-minute, the 5-minute offers you more opportunities to trade. And when you look at it, this is a 41% move. If you put a 10x in that, that's a 400% trade. So if you went in on $100 here and 10x'd it, you would make $400 on this profit. Okay? Or 4,000 if it was 10x to 1,000. Now this one, it's a 49%, 50% trade. on the way up. So an enormous profit when you're 10xing is an enormous profit. But this is on the 5 minute. So now look, you've got the weekly, the daily, the 4 hour, the 1 hour, the 15 minute, and then you've got the 5 minute. So when it comes to starting off, is go and map out the daily, zoom into the 4 hour, zoom into the hour, then zoom into the 15 minutes, and then zoom into the 5 minutes. And start that way, because long term, you'll always be, the first thing you do is you zoom out, you look at the bigger picture, and then you gradually zoom in. So, and you'll be doing that every day, all day, every day. You'd be looking to hold that awareness in your mind. But at the start, do it and zoom in, and then zoom in and start to map out continually the 15 and the 5 minute, because that's where you get lots of opportunities to trade. And you need to practice trading. You need to practice your TA. So like the next session I'll do with you, we'll be mapping out the Elliott waves and the corrections. So there's a way that you map these out. But I need you to be able to map the arcs first. Now why? What is the value of this? Like look at this fecky sideways action here. But still look, there's a wave up, down, up, down, I'd say down here is a breakout, a messy sideways action. How would you do this? Actually, I would bring this all the way to here. Bring this all the way to here. There we go. And then you would have this one here, all the way from here to there, and then to there, and there's your next breakout. Okay. Put that to, you'd have to put that to there. There we go. Haha, look at that. Without it being on the screen even. And the reason why this is so big is because there's just so much sideways. So much sideways and small volume. The volume is really small. This is the nature of what's been going on the last couple of months, just where things are, yeah. So you have lots of opportunities to trade. You could even go in. On, if I go down to the 1 minute, it'll zoom me out. So there's actually smaller arcs in here if you wanted to. Where here's an arc. Here's an arc here. That would be that looks like it will be a 1 minute. And that won't work. There we go. Pink. Like there's a 1 minute arc. Here's another one. Oh, maybe we'll put this all the way down here. Actually, that's it there. There. I think we got to bring this one down to there. Okay. So these are all 1 minute arcs. Okay, so 15, 5, 1 minute. You can even trade these, but again, things move so fast here that I wouldn't recommend it. I would stay on the 15 and the 5. And I know Extra Strategy is going to do a scalping session very soon, and he's probably going to go down into 1 minute, and he's going to do like a competition where people use like $10 and start mapping them out for a bit of fun. It'd be good crack. So now as a beginner, is yeah, I'm interested to see how that'll go myself. As a beginner, what I want you to understand is this is the secret sauce to the trading. Is we can go down to 1 second, you're still going to see the same arc wave pattern, where you get a big one, a correction, a smaller one, a correction, and then a third one. It repeats itself all the way down into the seconds. I could show you a month arc that runs over 4 or 5 years. It's the same pattern. I might even have it here. Is this my page? It is, yeah. Oh, there you go. Like there is. Now here's the different bull runs of XRP, and these are the monthly arcs. Like there's 2015, 2017, 18, and here we are on 21, 22. Each one of these is a month arc. So look where we are in this one. We still haven't broken our all-time high. We still haven't cracked our all-time high. Okay, so normally what you would do to measure the next pump is you would take the bottom and go to the top. Okay, and in that you would normally go to the 618. Okay, now that seems a lot there, because it's saying 238. But you know what? I keep getting caught here in my own thing. I think our first step is to hit $24 here, and it looks like we're going to hit that possibly around March or April. Yeah, I think that by the time we get into somewhere later on the year or 2023, I think we're going to start going into the hundreds of dollars. So that 238 I actually think that's quite possible by the end of this year or sometime in 2023. And people keep telling me I'm crazy, but I'm just following the TA. I'm just following the TA, and I'm back testing everything I do, and then I forward test, and it the top predicts the bottom predicts the top. It's done it here, it's done it here. I do it all the time. So the bottom predicts the top here. So this is the short term. The long term is going into this here, which is the next year or two. Anyway, conversation for another day. So what I want you to do as a beginner is you need to start to practice these. And I know it's not always easy. It's sometimes it's a challenge. But why would you do it? What's the value of doing it? Confluence is the thing. Do you see when you're on the 15-minute and you can see where you are on the 15-minute? Like here's Mountain Peak on the 15-minute. After Mountain Peak, it's going to go down. It's going to third drop. Now don't worry about what those names are, because I'll talk you through those as well. But when you're on Mountain Peak, or a simpler way to describe it, look, here's the wave in. What do you know is going to happen? Well, you've got to have a big wave up. Well, what do you know is going to happen after that? Well, it's going to be a correction. And what do you know is going to happen after that? Well, there's going to be a smaller wave. Not as big, a smaller wave. So when you're mapping out, you've got your correction. Your next wave is not going to be as high. So you can map that. There's ways to map it out, which we'll go through. And then you're going to have a correction. You might have a smaller one again, and a correction. What happens after that? Well, you have your breakout. Now, is it going to go up or down? Is it going to go up or down? How do you know? Okay, is through confluence. And what I mean by that is that look at this one here. This looks brown here, but it's more orangey, but it looks brown here. Here's Mountain Peak on the 15-minute. This one here, the green one. Look, it's skyline. It's the top of the green one as well. Okay, they're called different names, and I'll explain that later. But it's the peak of both of them. So now, what's going to happen is you're going to have this downtrend. Okay, so now look, the pink one here is the 1 minute. That's a skyline as well, and it's going down. Now here's the breakout of this one. Is how do you know it's going to go down? Because look at the green one. The green one is heading down to third spike. The brown one is heading down to third spike as well. You got confluence of third spike here. So that lets you know that when you're trading your 1 minute, is the next triangle is also going down, because you have confluence with the green one and the brown one. The 5 minute and the 15 minute are also indicating that it's gone down. So that lets you map out that this next triangle is going down. Now you hear your bottom. What's going to happen next? Well, it's got to go back up. So it reaches a top here. So now it's called final peak. So now what's going to happen after this? Where's this next 1 minute triangle going? It's going down. How do you know? Because this is on the green one and the brown one, this is final peak. What happens after that? It goes down. So now your next 1 minute triangle, because of the confluence between the green and the brown, you know that it's going down. What happens here? Well, you know it's going to go up. And it's not going to go up as high. And then it's going to have a correction. Okay, so look, we're at the end of the green channel. Okay, where are we going? Are we going up or are we going down? Well, we're at the bottom of the brown, the 15-minute channel as well. Are we going up or are we going down? I've got to scroll out in my timeline so you can see it. Okay, because we also have confluence on the bigger timelines. Now the hour isn't there, but the blue one, the 4 hour is there. And when we look at the 4 hour, I've got to zoom out a little bit more. When we look at the 4 hour, is that look, we've got this drop in. Look, and we have this wave up. Now we have this wave down. What is the 4 hour telling us? The 4 hour is telling us is that we're going to have a wave up. So now we know that the 15 minute is going to break up because of the confluence with the 4 hour. The 5 minutes going to break up as well, and then the 1 minutes are going to break up as well, and this will be a series of 1 minutes. So now we know the trend for the 1 minutes is up probably over the next 3 1 minute arcs, because it's in confluence with the 4 hour pattern, because the 4 hour is coming through a wave and a correction, a wave and a correction. So why are the arcs really, really powerful? Is because they repeat themselves over and over and over. When you begin to understand the different timelines within them, the timelines give you confluence of direction. And it makes it gives you a really solid indication of the next triangle is either going up or down. That is really, really valuable in trading, because I don't know of anything else that gives you such a clear indication of direction. When you begin to map out the different arc timelines with each other, they give you really solid confluence. And that is very powerful. So 2 things you need to achieve. One is consistency in your TA, in your trading, and then 2 is confluence in it. So when you're able to use your TA to read this, and then as you read it, what are you looking for? You're looking for confluence, and then you trade on that. And there's a trading strategy that you apply to this that gives you low risk and high reward. So you're going to dollar cost in. You don't put it all in at once. You put a small amount in, and then when you know your position is correct, you incrementally put more money in your trade, and you're dollar costing in when you know you've got a good position, rather than putting it all in and then price action turns around and you're losing big money because you put it all in at once and then it's turned around fast and it's knocking you out. Where dollar costing is only a small amount, And once price action moves away, you put in a little bit more and a little bit more. So there's a strategy around that, which is really, really powerful. So now this is the value of learning how to map out these arcs. It is invaluable, but it takes a bit of practice. So start with watching this video again, pausing the video, and then literally having your own page open and then mapping them out. There's other videos. You'll see a video on triangulation as well. There's a few videos on this. Is watch the video, pause, and practice. Watch the video, pause, and practice. It might seem tedious, but in the long term, the value is in the confluence, and it is the secret sauce. So right from the beginning, the first session, I'm showing you the secret. But now you gotta be able to develop that by building your skill around being able to map it out. So it is trial and error. Trial and error, trial and error. We have a trading analysis chat room. Is post some of your examples on it so we can see, and then all the people who know what they're doing will give you a bit of feedback. So everything from the coaches to the other members will give you a bit of feedback. And you want a bit of feedback to go, yeah, put this here, put that there, you make that longer or fit this in, and you'll start to get your head around it. And then we're going to get you to start trading on the 5 and the 15 minute as your starting point, because it gives you lots of opportunities to get in and practice trading. Okay, and then once you get used to this over the months, because it takes time, is then you look at starting to trade up. So starting to trade on the hour and the 4 hour. Why would you do that? Well, one, they're bigger trades. Two, they're more consistent. They're more consistent in the pattern. Is in these ones, look how much they move. But when you move into the hour, is you're moving on a bigger timeline. Your trade is bigger, but then equally there's a consistency in the pattern more. Yeah, it does it. The 1 minute can move very fast. The hour moves at a different rate. And why would you do that? Is because most people, when you're trading on the 5 minute, it's intense and it can be fast and there can be a lot going on, even if you go down into the 1 minute. And it's great to do. You learn a lot. But to do it long term really does take a lot of focus. And it can be quite stressful because you're in and out of trades all the time. Where the majority of people who succeed at trading trade over the 1 hour and the 4 hour, which basically means is they might put a trade in every second day. Because when you put a trade in on an hour, it could run for 3 or 4 days. It could run for a week. A 4 hour could run for weeks. So you're putting that trade in. Is you might be looking at as you mature into it, you're looking at 2 or 3 coins and you're trading the hour and the 4 hour over those 2 or 3 coins, which means you're putting in a trade or two a day, but it's over the longer period of time because it lets you prepare and map out the TA even more. Because you want to get confluence. So imagine getting confluence here and just putting a trade in and just letting it go all the way to here. That is an amazing trade. An amazing trade. And that's 58%. Okay, and by 10x is 580. So if you put in 1,000, that would be 6,000. Okay, so yeah. There you go. So that's the reason why you want to do it. Now our whole system is based on this. So you're going to see these conversations being talked about all the time and people discussing it. There's names within the pattern. When you get into the arc, there's skyline, there's mountain peak, there's first spike, second spike, third drop, first drop. So there's a series of names within it. I'll talk you through those as well. So now why is this really important? Is because we can talk about, I'm on the 15 minute, and I'm looking at skyline. Immediately, I know 15-minute skyline. Or I'm just the price action is just coming out of mountain peak, it's heading for third drop. I know immediately where that is within that arc. Or I'm looking at the 4 hour and I'm measuring it up with the 15 minute or the 5 minute. I know there's the 4 hour, there's the 5 minute. So the language that we use and the backbone of what we're all talking about, we all understand. And it's a visual pattern, and it's simple names. So it's very uncomplicated, and it allows us to share a large amount of information in a very simple way and a very effective way. So it'll just take a bit of time for you to get used to. So has anybody any questions before I wrap up?
I have a question.
Yeah.
On the fifth level that you were talking earlier, do you mind just summarizing why it's so important, the 618 level?
Yeah. If you think about it in midline, is as an average, is the 618. The 618 as an impulse is the average one that it goes to. It's more often than not the 618. So when you're looking at the impulse and the correction, is the 618 is the aggregator, is the average. So when you're mapping out, is you look and go, you compare the pump to the correction, and you're looking at the 618 as the average. Is again, sometimes it can be it can be shorter, it can be down at the 272 or the 414, or if you've got lots of pump in it, it's the 272. But you always look to the average when you're trading, and the average is 618. Okay, and then down here is also the golden pocket. So the golden pocket is you'd be surprised at how many times when we map something out that it's hitting the golden pocket. Do you understand?
No, yeah, of course. Thank you.
You're very welcome. Yeah, just as an average, it's the sweet spot of when you're averaging it out, and you'll see it over and over and over. So there you go.
Thanks for the clarification.
Yeah, no problem. Who are you? Do I know who you are?
This is Archu.
Who?
Archu.
Very good, very good. Okay, so start practicing the arcs and start posting in chart analysis, and put the time into it and put the energy into it, because it'll pay off. It'll pay off big time. It'll pay off big time as you go along. So now I'm going to say one other thing to you, and I say this all the time, is consistency is how many trades do you need to win to make a profit, compared to how many can you lose before you're actually making a loss. So generally, on a scale of 10, you want to be winning 7 or 8 trades out of 10. That's really where you want to be. Is when you get confluence, you'll be winning more than 7 or 8 trades out of 10. Is most of your trades you'll win. And when you dollar cost in, even the trades that go wrong for you, you turn them into wins, or you come out of them with minimal loss. So you can greatly reduce your risk, and you can greatly increase your wins by consistency and confluence. So now here's a question for you: is if you start off trading on $1,000 before you have consistency, will trading on $1,000 help you become more consistent? If you're using big money, will that make you consistent faster?
I don't know.
The answer Absolutely is no. Out of experience,
no. Yeah, the answer is no. It won't. So, could you learn everything you need to learn using a small amount of money, like $10, and that when you get consistent with $10, does it matter whether you use $10 or $1,000 when you have consistency and you have confluence? The answer is no. Whether you use $10 or $1,000, when you have consistency and confluence, it doesn't matter. But if you don't have consistency and you don't have confluence, it matters a lot whether you use $10 or $1,000, because you're going to get wrecked. And R-E-K-T in trading terms, wrecked, means you're going to lose money. So now you have to decide, how much do you want to pay to learn the lessons? And if you want to pay a lot and you don't have consistency, keep trading thousands of dollars, because you will get caught. Without a doubt, you will get caught. You will get wrecked. And then you're going to have to make that money back up. If you trade $10 or an amount that you can afford to lose and that it doesn't really do you any harm, is that will allow you to be not afraid of trading and to go in and test it. And that the more you can test it and measure yourself, the more effective you can be. If you lose $1,000 or multiple thousands of dollars, you understand you're now afraid. You're afraid to lose. Is you're going to hesitate. You're going to react. Is you're going to trade emotionally. It means you're going to lose more money. I know, because I've been there. Until I start trading $10. And it took the fear out of it for me. It took the emotion out of it for me. And I knew what I needed to do. And it freed me up to do what I knew I needed to do when I started trading $10. So you have to decide, is if you want to trade the big money without being consistent, you have to accept you're going to get wrecked. It's only a matter of time. And that you're willing to pay that price for you to learn to be consistent and gradually get confluence. Because that will take a couple of months. It takes time. And you'll see progression, but it takes time. Or you can do $10 and you're under a lot less stress and you can learn with less pressure, but yet you're still got money in the game. And Exit Strategy says it so well. It's not about the amount of money, it's about the percentages. So if you put a $10 trade in, and Polanco put one in today and he was $3 up, that's not $3, that's 30%. He's 30% up. Put 1,000 on that, it's $300. Put 10,000 on it, it's $3,000. So $10, 30%. You put a couple of zeros on that, it's a lot more. So, but when you are able to do that consistently with $10, it doesn't matter whether then it's 100 or 1,000. If you don't have consistency, it matters a lot. So I can't stress that enough. I'll never stop saying it because people need to keep hearing it over and over and over. So if you've got wrecked, use $10, get consistent, you get your money back, and we get you sorted. Might take a little bit of time, but you'll get there, and then far more, because once it kicks in, you can accelerate the amount of money you're using, and you can make a lot of profit, and it can be really good for you. It can be excellent. And people are doing it in the MTA. So we're going to show you how to do that. But again, also people are getting wrecked, and I put my hand up. I'm doing it too. I'm stressing it again. Is if you need to learn the lesson the hard way, is accept that. I did. I accepted it. But again, it wasn't pleasant. So I'm just saying to you that, don't be surprised if you get wrecked. Take it on the chin, then go back to $10, and then do what you need to do the right way, and then you'll make your money back pretty fast. Okay? No shortcuts either, by the way. So there's no getting around the arcs, because they give you a confluence, and the more you understand this, you'll realize confluence is so important. Confluence is the money train. Is the money tree. Confluence. The more you understand it. You might not understand it too much now, but I'm telling you now, the more you get into your trading, you realize how important it is. The arcs will give you this like nothing else that I'm aware of in trading. So get your head around these, and then we're going to put in Elliott waves and ABC corrections. We're going to put the fibs in. We're going to layer in all the other indicators for you to help map out your arcs, and then to measure your confluence. And that's where you hit your stride. So I don't know how long that's going to take. Is some people they come with more experience and they hit the ground running. Some people will come with more experience and it gets in their way because they're trying to overlay the arcs into what they already do. And no offense, is if you haven't got consistent by now, you have bad habits. They're getting you wrecked. So now put down what you do. If you're getting wrecked, you've got some experience, but it's getting you wrecked, then stop doing it that way. I'm showing you a new way. Don't try to do the old way while you're learning the new way. Just learn the new way. And then layer in what you understand that works as you understand the new way. But don't try and do both at the same time, because you're only going to corrupt the new way with the bad habits of the old way. Okay, and that's just going to wreck your head. Until you go, look, I need to just get these arcs, figure them out, layer in everything that they're showing me. And then as I do that, I'm going to start to recognize what I already understand and how it works, and also where the gaps were in my trading. And you let that come to you as you go along. So you gotta be a dog that's always looking for what's the word? Oh, I said try not to be rude now. What way did I say it? It was about humping anyway. You always got to be the dog that's looking for the hump. You know, you don't want to be the old dog that can't get new tricks. You know, so oh, I said it really well another time. Anyway, you get what I'm trying to say. Is you got to stay open and adaptable. Is if you're new to it, again, go through the steps as we're showing you them. If you skip them, is you're going to be forced to go back and do them. Not by anybody else other than getting wrecked. Getting wrecked will force you to go back and fill in the gaps that you skipped. So there's no skipping the steps, and the strategy is quite specific. Is there's a layering to it. So take the time to do it, and then post. Is give feedback. Is post as much as you can, because the more you post, the more feedback you get. And then slowly but surely observe the conversations that are happening, and then get in on the conversations, you know, and tease it out, because that's how we all got going. And then along the way, you have the members, you have the coaches. Everybody's very supportive and engaging. So the more you engage, the more feedback you get. Okay, so I'm waffling a little bit now. So thanks for your time, and I'll see you tomorrow. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Cheers, Ryan.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you.
Thanks, Ryan.
Cheers.
Thank you.
Oh, I know that you want to be the old dog that still wants to. No, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. I'll let you know next time when I remember.